K-State being able to bounce back in very, very good fashion after that really tough loss against Oklahoma State. Now you got to make sure they got to keep foot on necks from here on out because it will not get any easier.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank. If you're thinking about starting a business or know someone who is, check out Emprise Bank's SBA loans. It's always good to know your options, and they can be your partner in possible.
Welcome back to another episode of Run It Back. I am your host, Jazsmin Halliburton, here on KCSN. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Coming at you with some more K-State women's basketball, who is now ranked number 14 in the country after going 1-1 last weekend, and of course bouncing back after that game against Cincinnati this week. We're going to get into all of that. I promise you. I wish I would have been able to record a little bit sooner after a very, very, very upsetting loss against Oklahoma State. But, my schedule is my schedule. You know what I mean? I got to do what I got to do, right? But we gonna get into all that. We're going to go ahead and jump in. Starting off with the absolute worst loss of the season. K-State women's basketball. Damn, man. That was cheeks. That was cheeks. There's no way to put it. K-State on the road to, I think at that point, number 25 Oklahoma State. Ladies got clapped by 30, 85-55. I don't know what team that was. That wasn't K-State women's basketball. That's for damn sure. I mean, I obviously know that. They know that. That was, you hate to see the best win of the season, and then what follows is the worst loss of the season. But I mean, there's a reason for everything, right? In this game, like I said, ladies got clapped by 30, 85-55. I mean, I hate to come up with excuses. I know Coach Mitty talked about post-game that there's no really excuse, whatever, this, that, and the third. But I mean, the facts are still going to be the facts. This was their third game in 6 days. It was tough games at that. Obviously, TCU was the game prior. That was on that Wednesday before it was, Sunday? This game was against Oklahoma State? Or Saturday? I don't know. Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. That game against Oklahoma State. And I talked about it in my last episode, right? How K-State, was putting the clamps on TCU, how they were picking them up 90 feet from the basket, full court pressure, doubling at the top of the key for the entire game. And I was talking about their endurance and how hard, asking, if y'all know how hard that is to be pressing up on somebody to play that kind of defense for 40 straight minutes. Then I was like, clap, clap, applause, applause, right? And yeah, that's hard. That's hard because if anyone had the misfortune of watching this game against Oklahoma State, is like their legs were cooked. Energy was cooked. Everything was all bad. All types of bad. Energy was bad. Offense was bad. Defense was bad. Everything was bad. I mean, that's one word to describe it. Bad. I understand, like I said, 3 games in 6 days, you get an emotional and really tiring win against number 9 at that point, TCU, right? Talked about what they were able to do, this, that, and the third, being able to guard Haley Van Lith, being able to guard Sedona Prince, being able to, guard Madison Connor. There was a lot that had to go into that win. Boop, wop, wop. You on the road, a day later, you play another ranked team, a ranked team that actually also took down this TCU squad. I talked about it the last show. Obviously, when you're at sole position as number 1 in the Big 12 after that win, you got to make sure you're still on your P's and Q's because you're going to go on the road against Oklahoma State. I talked about this. I did. And I knew it could still be tough. I knew it was going to be tough, but damn. I'm gonna go ahead and read to y'all what happened, right? K-State defensively was playing this game very similar to how they played against TCU. Not entirely necessarily the same personnel that TCU has, that Oklahoma State has, but the Cowgirls were on it. They jumped us fast. Quick, fast, and error. What I just spoke to you about, what K-State didn't have, it seemed like they were not even a step behind. They were like 1.5, 2 steps behind them on both ends of the floor. It was like the ladies were just tired. They were tired. Oklahoma State seemed like they woke up on the right side of the bed. They had 8.5 hours of sleep. They had a hearty breakfast. They were ready. They were ready. They were destroying the zone that K-State was showing for the first half. They made 14 threes. They were cooking. This seems what happened when you play zone a lot. Sometimes you got to rely on threes, getting knocked down, right? That ain't no problem. My goodness gracious. Who we got? Anna Gret Asi? I hope I pronounced your name right, girl. If not, I'm sorry. She had 8 threes. She had 8 of their 14 threes. 7 threes were made as a team in that first quarter, which I blatantly, completely skipped over. The first quarter, K-State was down 9-31. That's what I mean by we got jumped in the parking lot, all the way into the stadium. Jumped. Just absolutely and utterly jumped. Oklahoma State shot 48% from the field, 45% from 3. Once again, this is a team, K-State defensively, that only allows 56 points per game from opponents. This was 85. This is the most points that any team has put up against this K-State defense. It was an embarrassing loss. I'm not saying it was embarrassing because Oklahoma State is like a bottom of the Big 12 and this was like a huge upset. I'm not saying it like that. Oklahoma State deserved every bit of that ranking, and they would deserve every bit of this ranking being now up to number 20 in the nation, right? But it was embarrassing, like bucket after bucket after bucket. It didn't matter what K-State did. They were still too slow. It just was bad. The rebounds, Oklahoma State 53 rebounds, K-State's 31. Even without Yoki, when was the last time that happened, damn it? That's 15 offensive rebounds for Oklahoma State. I'm just telling you, straight up lunch meat from the start. So what do you do about it? Okay? It sucks. It was bad. Coach Mitty said they just weren't prepared. And it was a little bit more physical than they initially thought of. Good on Oklahoma State. If I would have heard that, I'd be like, damn, yeah, you should have read your homework better. Even though I know they did, I know they watched the film, but that type of physicality, they just weren't really expecting it, and it was just a bad game. It really was. I mean, you hate to have it, you really do, but I mean, if you want to get this game out the way now, because season's not done. Postseason, it's gonna be even harder, right? But now, like I said, what are you going to do about it after this butt cheeks of a loss, right? Where K-State's offense as a whole only made 19 shots. They had they shot 31% from the field, 29% from 3. Flush it. You have no choice. No one has any other choice, right? What are you going to do about it? Tell you what they did about it. Because you ain't got time to cry, sulk, do any of that. They're going to take it on the chin. You got what Coach Mitty said, 30 minutes to sulk about this, the shock, the disappointment, the embarrassment that any of them may have felt. Toilet. Because then you had Cincinnati coming up next, right? You had Cincinnati next, and now you don't have to talk about what are you going to do to make sure that, 1, this never happens again, and that 2, that you remember who the hell you are. Right? And that's exactly what they did. And that's exactly what I'm going to get into in this next part of the show. But before I get into that, you got to check out homefieldapparel.com. They have all things K-State that you may need. They got hoodie, they got hats, they got t-shirts, whatever you want, baby, they got it. And if you want to get some little something for somebody else from another school, go ahead, because they got that too. So go ahead and go to homefieldapparel.com, and we'll be right back with more Run It Back.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
All right, y'all, we back. So I went on this tangent about K-State losing to Oklahoma State, who's now ranked number 20, Oklahoma State. Let me put some respect on their name where it is due. They was cooking. They were absolutely cooking. 1 for 5 bench players. Everybody got in on that same energy. And unfortunately, K-State didn't match it, and they didn't match it early. That's what that is. That's what that is. Now, like I said before, what are you going to do about it? You got to move on. You got to flush it. You got another game coming up on Wednesday. That was against Cincinnati. Cincinnati, who came to Manhattan early on in the season. That's one of the games, I think, they started Big 12 play on, if not maybe the second or third game of the season. So, okay. Let's get it back. Another tough matchup. Cincinnati was, I think, 14 and maybe 8 before this game on Wednesday, right? So you played them before. We know it's hard to, play a team and beat a team twice in a season. We know that's not the easy of tasks, especially in this conference where everybody get a shot at everybody, right? But they did what they had to do. K-State women's basketball did what they had to do. They won 90-53. If you ever needed a get back game and need it quickly, Cincinnati was the unfortunate draw. If you want to get pissed, play pissed off after what just transpired in Stillwater, Oklahoma, unfortunately, Cincinnati had to be that punching bag, right? And they got clapped 90-53. And so the big question was, going into this game, obviously, how do you bounce back after that loss against Oklahoma State, right? That game against Oklahoma State, I talked about how slow of a start that it was. The energy wasn't there. The legs wasn't there. Like I said, one word to describe it, all bad. Okay, so now I had to figure out how they were going to start this game against Cincinnati. It was still a slow start. It was, barring a better team, no disrespect to Cincinnati whatsoever, but barring a better team, the first quarter outcome would have been very similar to the first quarter outcome from Oklahoma State. It was not a very good start. Cats were throwing up quick shots. They had turnovers or near turnovers. I think Cincinnati was getting good looks at the basket. Their very first possession was a drain 3 at the end of the shot clock to get a little boost to the audience. They went up 6-0 really quickly. Got some turnovers, had a little bit more. They had a little more pep in their step. They had a little bit more pep in their step to start that quarter. I'm like, look here. And I know Coach Minnie is probably thinking the same thing, and I think the team was thinking the same thing too. But hey, this was a better team. Things might have gone awry, but it's okay. It's fine. K-State once again remembering who they are. That was a little extra hangover. A little extra hangover from that game. It happens. Because I'm not going to be mad about it, because it was an ass whooping. 90-53. But that's still how the game started. But once again, they got back right. They had to get that lick back in some way, form, and fashion, and Cincinnati was the culprit in this, okay? K-State did very well. Ended up doing very well after that slow start. They scored, 22-16 after one quarter. Now, mind you, K-State only had 19 total points in the first half against Oklahoma State. It's hard to get any worse than that, okay? But they already eclipsed their point total of a half in the first quarter against this game against Cincinnati. So, snaps. That's all. That's what you wanted. A little bit slower start the game. Yes, it was. But at the end of that first quarter, that's all that matters, right? K-State into this game shooting 51% from the field. Check. 10 made threes. They average almost 9 made threes threes a game. Check, shot 36% from the field, 28 assists on 31 made shots. That's the type of time that we knew they were on. That sounds about right. Last week, Oklahoma State, this past weekend, they had 13 assists and 14 turnovers. That's not them. That's not them. That's not K-State women's basketball. K-State women's basketball is 28 assists on 31 made shots and 9 turnovers. 28 assists, 9 turnovers. That's it. That's what the hell I'm talking about. That's the type of time that they on. That's the team that we know, right? 6 blocks, 6 steals, 41 rebounds to Cincinnati's 36. That's what's supposed to happen. That's what we've seen all mother loving season long. All season long. I got it written down right up here. That's the type of time they needed to be on. They had a couple extra days of rest. They had time to soak it a little bit. I know it was another game on the road and another Big 12 win on the road. That's still tough. You gotta sulk when you have to go back on the road. You can't just go have a home game in order to bounce back from this. So that takes another little mental attitude, a little something to get you going, go into this game and to have this type of game that they had. Serena Sundell doing Serena Sundell things. 21 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds. Triple-double watch once again in this game. Man, I wonder if she knew she had 6 rebounds and maybe everybody else, hey, just let her get this one. But I would just, selfishly, I would have loved that. But it's not about me. It's not about Serena. It's about the team. But still, Serena Sundell doing exactly what she does with a double-double, 21 points, 10 assists, right? Tamara Poindexter, she getting that little scoring back in her a little bit more. 18 points, 2 blocks, and a steal for her. And Taryn Sides, she got her first career double-double. Congrats, baby girl. 17 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists. I'm telling you, this is the type of time that K-State women's basketball is on. Not that they got to be on, they've been on. They've been on that type of time. Oklahoma State was an anomaly. It was. Like, it's not often that this team has made me make a drink. I had to make a drink at halftime watching them against Oklahoma State. Very few teams make me do that. Well, depending on who I cheer for. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, so maybe a lot of teams. But besides the point, Oklahoma State was an anomaly. That's not how they play. That's not what they do. That's what happened. Because that happened against Colorado, too. It was a different type of poor play in that one compared to what was in this one against Oklahoma State. Put them on the checklist for that get back when the Big 12 tournament comes to town in Kansas City. If they have the opportunity to play either of those two teams, hopefully they remember this and get that lick back, right? But we know what time it was. I can say it so many times. But I won't, because this is the type of team that was supposed to show up, right? Now, in this game, obviously, when you still do not have Yoki, the defensive pressure, it's gone up. It's gone up. I even talked to Coach Mitty about this, a couple weeks ago, talking about that defensive pressure now that Yoki was out, kind of doubling the post a little bit more, picking up teams more full court pressure, what they're able to do, mixing up some zone and some man a little bit more. We saw that type of blitz, I think, starting really against Iowa State, where it was at one of its peak. And then, of course, the TCU and Kansas and so on and so forth. And in this game against Oklahoma State, it just wasn't working. They were in zone all first half. That's when they were getting cooked. Then they went into man to start the third quarter, and it was a little better. It was a little better, but I mean, at that point, when a team has so much momentum, so much confidence in them, and you yourself have to come back from being down 38 at some point in this game. That's a lot to ask. But still, that defensive pressure going up. They were alternating really between zone defense and man-to-man defense in this game against Cincinnati, and it was really working for them. What they've been able to do. It's Obviously, we know this team is not a one-trick pony, especially defensively, but still mixing it in a little bit more to confuse Cincinnati, and that's exactly what they were able to do, right? And that's what I assume that they will continue to do until Yoki gets back healthy, and that defensive style may change a little bit. I still think because it's worked so well, they'll still keep some form of it that when she does come back, right? Now, I don't expect her to help double at the top of the key, but in some situations, similar defensive style may come to play whenever she does come back, right? And Coach Mitty said that she may come back in the last 3 games of the season, and I think that would be what? KU on February 22nd. Yeah, in Manhattan. That, I think, is the target game. Once again, you never know how therapy is. She was still in that boot when they were at Cincinnati yesterday. You never know how that is, right? You never know how this team's going to play when she comes back. I know it was a little bit different. It was still a bit of a struggle last season, but this is a damn new team, damn new experience, a lot of other players getting their opportunity. So still being able to hold it down defensively, what they were able to do offensively, they've still been going crazy on them. But you still got to handle business. You're still at the top of the Big 12. I think it is for sure a two-way tie with K-State and TCU, who both went 1-1 last weekend. And let's see, before I say something else, to make sure that K-State and TCU are the only ones tied for the Big 12 right now. Yes. Nope. Baylor. K-State, TCU, Baylor, all 11-2 right now. So those are what's circling. Obviously, Oklahoma State's right behind. Oklahoma State and Utah are right behind, where they're both 10-3. There are 5 games left of the season. A whole lot can still happen, especially considering who we still have left on the schedule, right? Up next for K-State is going to be UCF. UCF, they're 2-11 in the Big 12. They bottom of the Big 12, I think 14th? I want to say 13 or 14 in the Big 12 right now. Statistically, at the bottom of the Big 12, I'm not going to sleep on them. Everyone in the history of sports has made that mistake at some point and another. I'm not going to do it. K-State just needs to handle some business on Saturday in front of their home crowd, right? Because breaks don't stop. They got West Virginia, Press Virginia coming up on Monday at 1 p.m. For those of you that could be off work at that time, I encourage you to tune in, because that's going to be on national TV on Fox, right? That's going to be a tough game. That's going to be an incredibly low-scoring game. These are the 2 best defensive teams in the Big 12. West Virginia leading the league in steals. I want to say they are still ranked. I think they got a loss this past week. Yes. Nope. I think they did. They're 18th. Yeah, they're ranked 18th. So another top 25 matchup with them starting on Monday. Got to make it do what it do. Then after that, hopefully Yoki's return. But I'm going to leave y'all with all of that. K-State being able to bounce back in very, very good fashion after that really tough loss against Oklahoma State. Now you got to make sure they got to keep foot on necks from here on out, because it will not get any easier. So we just going to have to wait and see. All right. So I'm going to say goodbye to y'all now, and I'll catch y'all right back on Running Back next week. See y'all then.